G'day to all my friends and family, and welcome to this episode of Jim's 5am Club. What I'd like to do today is go through yet another book and see what we can learn, what we can add to previous knowledge, and how we can grow and develop at the same time. The book that I've chosen to have a chat to you about today is entitled Women and Children First, a book authored by Alina Grabowski and published on the 7th of May 2024, just a few months ago. And this book is a collection of short stories that centres on the lives and relationships of women in a coastal Massachusetts town. So let's see what we can learn, what we can take from this. And I guess every single book that I've been through in my life, I've always learnt something. And learning is the art of attaching the unknown to the known. So let's see what we can attach to what we already know and help us join the dots and expand our knowledge. The first point that the author makes is something that we all, sooner or later, get to experience and to understand, and I guess can perplex us as well. But that is the topic of the complexity of family dynamics. And the author makes a very powerful point here that family relationships are often complicated, marked by love, loyalty, and unresolved conflicts that shape each family member's identity and their life choices. How true is this? You just don't know where the loyalties lie within a family dynamic, nor what all the conflicts have been, but more importantly, the ones that are still festering and are unresolved. So somebody new coming into a family sort of environment has absolutely no hope in trying to understand all of this, because as we say, it's a web, it's a complicated, complex web that has been spun over many years and over many generations, may we also add as well. The second key point to come from this author is the concept of the power of resilience. Many of the women in the stories that are portrayed in this book face unique challenges and hardships, showcasing the strength and the resilience required to overcome adversity and find personal empowerment. Life, no doubt, is going to give everybody a sample bag of challenges, some bigger, some smaller, but everybody's going to have a turn at being tested. And what this shows here is that all of these tests are there to see how we respond, how we grow, and how we evolve as people in order to become better people and to facilitate our growth and independence. The book goes on to talk about the exploration of identity. Characters frequently struggle with who they are versus who they are expected to be. How true is that? What a challenge that is for people and families to try and figure out who they are as opposed to who they are expected to be. And for this reason, it's important to live authentically. So rather than to try and live out who you're expected to be, you're better off living out who you are. The book emphasises the importance of understanding oneself independently of the social and familial roles. So there's an exercise here, there's some work to do to try and figure out who you are outside of your relationships and outside the family roles and who you are in the pecking order. The author here goes on to talk about the intergenerational influence that shapes families. Things like family legacies, traditions, past traumas are carried forward as well, impacting generations in subtle and sometimes overt ways. It's important to be on the lookout and to recognise these patterns, and that is one of the keys in breaking the cycle. You don't have to take ownership of the baggage and the luggage that has been lumped on your parents' shoulders or your siblings' shoulders. Each person can choose what luggage they are capable of carrying and what they want to carry. The author goes on to talk about the value of community. A small town setting highlights how tight-knit communities can offer both support and judgment. It comes in two facets. Small towns can be very, very supportive, but they can also be very, very judgmental. Community influence shapes individual decisions, both positively and negatively. And we also go on to talk about gender expectations. Women often feel the weight of societal expectations, which affects their ambitions, relationships, and sense of worth. Questioning and resisting these norms can indeed be powerful and empowering. We look at the impact of loss and grief. Stories delve into how people process grief differently and how loss reshapes lives and alters perspectives on what truly matters. And we all get a turn sooner or later in our lives to sit back and have a think about what really matters to us. And what we're saying is the grief process and the process of loss is one of those powerful tools that help. The author goes on to talk about navigating motherhood, the experiences of mothers, navigating expectations and self-sacrifice, and the desire to be more than their roles as caregivers are explored in depth in the book. And we go on to look at strength versus vulnerability, opening up about fears, struggles, and insecurities, helps the characters connect and foster empathy. As we know, vulnerability is shown as a pathway to true strength and connection. Really powerful. And the last key message to come from the book is the transformation and acceptance. Personal growth often involves facing uncomfortable truths about oneself. The book illustrates that accepting these truths is essential for genuine transformation. This book, Women and Children First, brings out the nuanced struggles and triumphs of women as they navigate relationships and identity, highlighting universal themes of resilience, connection, and the search for self. Wow, I didn't quite think that this book would be as powerful as that, but there you go. You just never know where the next powerful message is going to come from.